Trump and Musk are moving to smother these three pieces of the government. Donald Trump ran his presidential campaign, promising to abolish entire federal agencies and departments. However, eliminating a government agency is not as simple as signing an executive order. These organizations are created and funded by Congress, which serves as an equal branch of the government to the president. To overcome this challenge, Trump and his allies, led by billionaire Elon Musk, have taken a more indirect yet highly effective approach. Instead of outright shutting down agencies, they are strategically sidelining workforces, freezing operations, and launching internal reviews aimed at rendering these agencies non-functional. This slow but deliberate process of dismantling key agencies from within has been a signature strategy of the Trump administration's second term. If the agencies can be effectively paralyzed, it becomes easier to either consolidate them under different departments or convince Congress to eliminate them entirely. Targeting government agencies. The list of agencies currently facing significant operational threats under Trump's second administration includes the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, and the Department of Education. Each of these agencies has long been viewed as problematic by conservatives, and their futures now hang in the balance. CFPB, Consumer Protection on Hold. The CFPB was established by Congress in the aftermath of the Great Recession to safeguard consumers from financial abuses by banks, credit card companies, and other financial institutions. Since its inception, the agency has faced opposition from Republicans, who see it as an overreach of federal power. Under Trump's renewed leadership, the CFPB's operations have come to a screeching halt. The agency's director, Rohit Chopra, was dismissed this past weekend, despite having been appointed for a 5-year term. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, now acting as the temporary head of the agency, has ordered a complete review of CFPB policies to ensure consistency with the new administration's agenda. This effectively suspends all enforcement actions previously in place. The consequences of sidelining the CFPB are vast. The agency was responsible for capping overdraft fees, limiting credit card late fees, and removing medical debt from credit reports. With its operations frozen, financial institutions may once again impose predatory practices on consumers without fear of oversight or penalties. Additionally, the CFPB's unique funding structure, which derives its finances from the Federal Reserve instead of Congress, was meant to insulate it from political influence. However, Trump's new actions have effectively sidelined it, making its funding mechanism a moot point. The Supreme Court previously ruled in favor of the CFPB's existence, but legal battles over the agency's funding structure may re-emerge as the administration continues to challenge its authority. USAID, the death of U.S. foreign aid. The United States Agency for International Development, USAID, has also been a target for Trump and his allies, particularly Musk. Established in 1961 by President John F. Kennedy, USAID has played a key role in providing humanitarian assistance and defending U.S. interests abroad. However, under Trump's second term, USAID employees in 2025 have been locked out of headquarters, and the agency's website has been taken offline. A new directive issued Tuesday night states that all staff worldwide will be placed on administrative leave by Friday and ordered to return to the US. This decision has caused a ripple effect across international aid organizations, with a freeze on most foreign aid while Trump's team reviews USAID operations. Many nonprofits and aid groups have been left scrambling. Musk has openly criticized USAID, calling it evil and accusing it of promoting unnecessary diversity initiatives abroad. Trump has also described it as being controlled by the radical left. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, now the acting head of USAID, has informed lawmakers that he intends to reorganize the agency's activities to maximize efficiency and better align with national interests. However, many within the international development community fear that this is simply a step towards shutting down the agency altogether. The suspension of USAID operations has already affected global health initiatives, including the widely successful AIDS medication program in Africa. After public backlash, the administration amended its freeze to allow waivers for life-saving programs, though reports indicate difficulty in obtaining these waivers. Department of Education. Put yourself out of a job. Trump has long set his sights on the Department of Education. The agency, which became an independent entity in 1979, is now facing significant reductions under his administration. A new executive order in the works directs the incoming Education Secretary, Linda McMahon, to diminish the department through executive action. Trump made his position clear, stating, "I told Linda, I hope you do a great job in putting yourself out of a job." Although a divided Congress is unlikely to approve a full dissolution of the department, the administration can significantly weaken its influence. McMahon, best known for her role as founder of WWE and former head of the Small Business Administration, is expected to cut federal education funding and shift more control to individual states. Ironically, Trump has simultaneously exerted more federal influence over education by signing an executive order limiting what schools can teach regarding race and sexuality. Schools found in violation of these new directives may face funding cuts, further exacerbating tensions between federal oversight and state control. The looming federal layoffs beyond targeting specific agencies. The Trump administration is also preparing for mass layoffs across the federal government. CNN reported that Trump's team has issued legally questionable buyout offers to federal workers, giving them until Thursday to accept or risk being laid off. These moves are part of a broader reduction in force initiative that could see thousands of government employees dismissed or reassigned. The administration has also threatened to relocate agencies to different locations and enforce a strict 5-day office workweek, undermining existing collective bargaining agreements. Certain government roles, particularly those focused on diversity and inclusion, have already been hit with administrative leave orders. By reducing the federal workforce, the administration can weaken agencies without needing congressional approval for their outright closure. Legal battles ahead. Trump's aggressive moves against these agencies are likely to face numerous legal challenges. Lawsuits have already been filed, and more are expected, as courts determine whether the administration's actions overstep legal boundaries. For example, the Supreme Court recently upheld the CFPB's funding mechanism, but dissenting voices within the court, such as Justice Samuel Alito, argue that the Constitution's appropriations clause should require direct congressional funding. This ongoing debate could play a key role in future legal disputes over Trump's attempts to dismantle regulatory agencies. Similarly, USAID's reorganization efforts may face challenges regarding the agency's intended independence from the State Department. While Congress has the ultimate authority to abolish an agency, Trump's administration is testing the limits of executive power by gutting it through administrative measures. Conclusion. A government on life support. Trump and Musk's efforts to diminish key government agencies represent a strategic shift in governance. Rather than fighting lengthy congressional battles to formally abolish agencies, they are opting to dismantle them from within, sidelining employees, freezing operations, and imposing bureaucratic paralysis. The long-term effects of these policies remain uncertain. While conservative lawmakers and business leaders applaud the administration's efforts to reduce government overreach, critics argue that these moves will harm ordinary citizens, weaken consumer protections, and diminish America's role in global humanitarian efforts. With lawsuits mounting and resistance from federal workers growing, the coming months will determine whether Trump and Musk's strategy succeeds, or if these agencies can withstand the assault. What is clear, however, is that this administration is willing to push the boundaries of executive power like never before.